Hola and welcome to the Unfiltered Doll. Warning, your viewer discretion is advised. So NBC News lets us know that the second woman is strangled during an overnight visit at the same California prison. So let's get into this story right here. So they're letting us know this is the second time this has happened.
Second woman is strangled during an overnight visit at the same California prison. The family of a woman who died of strangulation during an overnight visit with her husband at a California prison is questioning why a man convicted of murdering 4 people was allowed to have family visits. Stephanie Diane Dowles, 62, who also went by the name Stephanie Brinson, was killed in November, making her the second person in a year to die at Mule Creek State Prison in Ione during a family visit, according to the California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation. The other victim, Tanya Thomas, 47, was also strangled during a family visit, Amador County District Attorney Todd Reeb said in an interview Monday. The man she was visiting has been charged with murder in connection with her killing, Reeb said. Dowles, a hairdresser, was killed while visiting her husband, David Brinson, 54, who was convicted in the 1990s of murdering 4 men during a robbery and sentenced to 4 consecutive life terms without the possibility of parole. After Brinson called prison officials at 2:04 a.m. on November 13 to tell them his wife had passed out, officers immediately began life-saving measures and called 911, a spokesperson for the California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation said. But Dowles was pronounced dead a short time later. Dowles' killing remains under investigation by prison officials and the district attorney's office, the spokesperson said. Reeb said charges are pending prison and autopsy reports. The Amador County Sheriff's Office confirmed she had been strangled and her death was a homicide. Dowles' son, Armand Torres, 28, and his wife, Natalie Jimenez, said that in the days after Dowles' death, Brinson's account of events kept changing, including the exact time and location where he found Dowles unconscious. He would say, she passed out on the floor, or she was passed out on the bed, Jimenez said in an interview. Dowles lived in Inglewood, California, with Torres, Jimenez and their 3-year-old son, who called Brinson Grandpa. Torres, Jimenez, their son and Dowles were all very close, and the couple allowed the boy to accompany Dowles on family visits to Mule Creek Prison twice in the last couple of years. If I could trust him with my kid, I'm thinking, it's a green light, Torres said of Brinson. Everything's fine. He said his mother told him his son had enjoyed the visits, which was enough assurance for him to trust Brinson around his son. Torres said he sometimes worried about his mom being with someone who was incarcerated, but he tried to be supportive. He said he was unaware that Brinson had been convicted of murdering 4 people. We really love our mom, and we just wanted her to be happy, and she usually came back happy, he said. They talked on the phone every day, everything seemed good. I'm all for second chances. If she was happy, I was happy, he said. Torres would sometimes overhear his mother and Brinson arguing on the phone, he said, but he didn't think much of it because couples sometimes quarrel, especially when one partner is incarcerated. Stephanie was always a forgiving person, and she always tried to see the better in people, Jimenez said. Despite their background or anything, she would always try to see the good in them. That's what she did with her husband. Torres said his mother and Brinson met before he was born in 1996, and he didn't meet Brinson until about 2016.
Wow, is all I can say. I never want to be disrespectful to a family that's dealing with a tragic loss during this time. Now that we have the update and we heard more details from the son, I'm speechless. I'm speechless. I don't know what to say. I thought I had hard questions before, but now I'm speechless. Now, with this being the second strangulation that has happened in this same facility during the same type of visit, I don't know what to think, because you have inmates and you may have some foul play with the guards or whomever's walking the area, securing the area. I don't know. Is it a coincidence? I'm not sure at this point in time. Again, I just said before, I'm speechless. Are the hard questions disrespectful to the family who wants the answers? You know, how did these two meet? Now, the son let us know that they met in the 90s. And he also let us know that she would take her grandson on these visits. Okay. That was a shocker for me. And the son admits that he did not know about the 4 murders. Okay. I don't know what made this beautiful woman that we see here on the screen. Let me get her up here on the screen really quick. I don't know what made her feel safe to bond, love, and marry this man. I don't know. I don't have the answers for that. When it comes to the 4 murders and David Brinson, I often wonder when it comes to why it happened or the way it happened. Is that why she felt like, oh, well, you know, it was a troubled past. He was dealing drugs or whatever the case may be, right? We don't want to make up too much, you know, when it comes to this story. I do have the actual article from February 8th, 1994 from the LA Times. Let me pull that up here. Let me pull that up on my screen. All right. And this is a lot. I'm trying to tell you right now. It is a lot. So this is from 1994. What we do know is he was 23 years old when he was sentenced Monday to 4 consecutive life terms without the possibility of parole for the execution-style murders of 4 men during a robbery in which he netted virtually nothing. David Brinson was convicted in October of shooting Robert Marks, a 59-year-old retired tavern owner, and 3 other men on June 12, 1990, in Mark's garage apartment on South Burnside Avenue in the Mid-Wilshire district. Brinson faced the death penalty, but the jury could not agree on the sentence. The prosecution agreed not to retry the penalty phase in exchange for Brinson's promise not to appeal his case. Superior Court Judge George Trammell sentenced Brinson on Monday. We also have another video that we're pulling from Facebook. Let's play this and let me know what you think.
To speak with the family of this woman. Her name is Stephanie. She went up to Mule Creek State Prison. That's up in Amador County. She went there to have a series of nights with her husband in a family visiting unit of the prison. According to the Amador County Sheriff's Department and CDCR, at some point in the middle of the night, the person that she was in there to visit, by the way, convicted of 4 murders here in Los Angeles County in the 1990s, called into the prison staff to say she wasn't breathing. It wasn't for another 2 weeks after her death that her family was notified that something seemed suspicious about the case. And it wasn't until last Friday that they were finally notified that this, in fact, was a homicide, that she died by strangulation. Now, the man she was in there to see, her husband, has not been charged, has not even been named as a suspect to us when we inquired about the case. Tonight, the family is remembering her, and they're frustrated about what was allowed to happen in that prison.
She would do toy drives during the holiday to give back to the community. She was just a very giving person.
It's very frustrating, especially because they haven't charged anything yet. They just know that it's a homicide, but nobody's been charged or prosecuted or anything. So it's a very frustrating role because we know it was just him and her in the room, nobody else. No supervision, no phones. They take her phone, they take all her belongings. So what hope does she have?
They are accountable. They are accountable. You know, it was my mother's choice as a grown woman to be there with the person that she was with, but they're accountable for the type of protection that they provide for these people when they provide a service like this.
Now, it should be pointed out that these family visiting units are separate from the main housing unit of the prison. They are not supervised. There is no guard inside of these units. There are no cameras inside of these units. There is a phone. And according to the family, every now and again, a prison staff member would come by and have them check in. They don't think that's enough at all. I asked CDCR if they believe that it's appropriate for somebody to be convicted of 4 murders to be allowed to be alone unsupervised with somebody who is not incarcerated at the prison. They say that there is a rigorous set of rules that come with these family visits. I just went through the regulations for the California Code of Rehabilitation, and it doesn't say anything about a conviction of the person and what they had. It talks about their conduct in prison. By the way, they're only ineligible for these visits if it was a violent crime against a minor or a family member.
Wow. Okay, so here's the thing. When it comes to Stephanie, we see her beautiful picture and we question and we wonder what happened, what's going on, why? Why is this the man you made the decision to spend your life with, to the point where you took your grandbaby to the jailhouse, to the prison house to see this man? Now, this is who you see on the screen when we report this story, and also when you go throughout the internet catching up on all of the updated news. This is the man on Facebook, which is the same man that you see right here. But see, he's a little, I guess you can say he cleans up for the Facebook profile, but here it's all in the eyes. Okay, it's all in the eyes. I know they said you don't judge a book by its cover, but right here, if we're going to point the finger and judge a book by its cover, right, a moment of silence. You're thinking exactly the same thing that I'm thinking. Yeah, he looks like he definitely did whatever it is that he's serving time for in the prison. You see a beautiful lady right here, but let me tell you something. At the end of the day, social media, we're going to see so many beautiful women, beautiful pictures, family time, trips, activity that does not tell you the full story of what that woman is dealing with and what she is willing to settle for when it comes to a relationship, especially with women and some men running away from traditional relationships. You have some women who are stuck on helping or changing someone. And in this situation, she can no longer tell us anything about it because she's no longer here. And the family wants to know, how did this man, with everything that I just told you previously, how did this man get that type of a privilege where he can be with their mother alone for 30 to 40 hours unsupervised? And again, are the hard questions disrespectful to the family? Now, her son states that she knew him back in the 90s. Okay, cool. What did you know about him in the 90s? Why didn't you tell your son after you took his child to that jailhouse, to the prison to see this man? Why didn't he know that this man was convicted of the crimes of murdering 4 people? I'm not sure. Did she know people in his family? Were they sharing mutual friends on Facebook? How did this reconnection happen? Were they always in contact? Is the rumor true? Were they married in the 90s and did they get a divorce? If you go to his Facebook page, yes, he has an active Facebook profile, and I'm going to show you. So Stephanie's husband, David Brinson, does have an active Facebook profile and page out there in the Facebook world. This is a legit page because if you go to the friend section of this page, you will see that she is a friend, which you can see her right here. Not only that, on one of his pictures, let's go to his photos, and I believe it's this one right here. We can see that she liked the picture as well. So it's just very crazy and scary almost, because you have these men with these social media profiles, no telling who they're reaching out to, family, friends, that one that got away. And then you got yourself caught up into a situation that you can no longer speak about or tell us about because you're no longer here. It doesn't look like she spoke much on her marriage on her Facebook page. She did share pictures. She shared, the hair. She was a beautician, so she did share her clients and the finished results of their hairstyles, her grandchildren, her different family outings, her trips, her out having fun on her videos. Of course, she has some happy times, some sad times. There were some unique pictures with her tongue hanging out and things like that. Not sure if she was having fun. I know some people were in the comments like, hey, what's going on with you? So we never know what's going on behind a social media profile is basically what I'm trying to say. All right. And although on the news outlets, you get this face right here with the eyes, it's all in the eyes, if you ask me, and I'm judging a book by its cover. Yes, I am. When we go down to his Facebook, this is what you see. You see a man who is more clean cut. It looks like he put some Vaseline on. It looks like he's, lifting some weights down there at the jailhouse. It is what it is. And unfortunately, again, the family wants to know, how did he even qualify for these family visits? So now let's take a walk over to the website where they let us know about the types of visits that they offer, okay? So when you go to the California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation, they do list the types of visits, and we have in-person visits, in-person non-contact visits. We have the family visits, which this is the visit that Stephanie went on to see her husband, David, okay? And then we have the in-person marriage ceremonies. Now, for this visit, it says here on their website that family visits occur in private apartment-like facilities on prison grounds and last approximately 30 to 40 hours. And, it's really sad at the end of the day, regardless of, most of us, if we disagree with her putting herself in this situation, it's just still really sad. I mean, to go to the Facebook and you can see that she's a loving grandmother, a loving mother. This is based off of pictures and captions, of course. We don't know these people in real life, but it's sad when anybody has to, bury a loved one, especially when it wasn't their time to go. All right. So what else do we have? Now, there are several women, especially if you go to the Prison Bay community. There's some women who are serving time with their loved ones because they were in a relationship, in a marriage before that person went to jail or went to prison. But then you have some women and you have men who become pen pals to people in prison. They fall in love because they don't want a traditional relationship. And like I said, some people, it's about the control. It's about them changing that person. They believe they can make a change in that person and see this person through, and they want to help this person. And unfortunately, baby, we got to be a little more careful, and we have to pay attention to the red flags. And listen, we have a whole catalog full of prisoners that you can pick and choose from. However, I don't recommend it. Now, let's listen to this TikTok video really quick, okay?
Hybristophilia is an attraction to people who've committed outrageous crimes, and it may explain why so many women are attracted to them. I can't tell you how often I see this happen, says Louis Schlesinger, professor of forensic psychology at the John Jay College of Criminal Justice. In nearly every penitentiary across the country, you'll find female employees, like lawyers, therapists, and guards, getting involved with inmates. Criminals can make the perfect boyfriend in a way, says Schlesinger. These women know where their boyfriend is at all times, and they only have to share positive encounters with him. Weirdly, it's a controllable and safe relationship option. There's also a feeling of being needed. They provide criminal men with much needed attention, and in turn, they get a sense of purpose, usually to help them through a trial, says Schlesinger. Women who pursue these relationships may.
So you get the point. Pretty much there are women who prefer to talk to men that are in lockup, okay? There's women who may marry men in prison for various reasons, often rooted in emotional and psychological and social factor, finds the structured nature of prison relationships appealing as it provides a sense of predictability and control. Others may feel a deep emotional connection through letters and phone calls, which can foster intimacy without the distraction of a conventional relationship. Okay. So not only that, you have people who want to be part of that rehabilitation process. Unfortunately, when it comes to Stephanie and David, okay, so we're going to do what? He's in jail for the rest of his life. And this is still under investigation. And with that being said, if they charge David, if he's already serving a 4 consecutive life term, four consecutive life terms, let's make sure we make that plural. What more can they do besides give him the death penalty? That's the only thing I assume. You let me know if you know how that works when you have somebody, he is serving a 4, let me go back to it, honey. I don't want to say it wrong. A 4 consecutive life term without the possibility of parole for the execution style murders of 4 men during a robbery. He is not getting out of jail. So what if they charge him? What else can they give him at this point in time, since he was never getting out of jail to begin with? He's been in there since 1994. Okay, you guys let me know what you think about this. I'm speechless. Again, after hearing the updated information from NBC News, let me get the picture back up here. After NBC News let us know that this is the second woman, or there was a second woman that was strangled during an overnight visit at the same California prison, I don't know what to think. I don't know if it's foul play. I don't know if the prisoners are just doing what they're, what they like to do, remove people from the face of the earth. That's why they're there, right? Some of them. Everybody is different. Everybody, listen, they don't have the same charge. However, regardless if she knew this man since the 90s or not, what made her decide to give her life up and spend it with him? That's all I want to know. And again, I know that these hard questions, maybe it's disrespectful because of what the family is dealing with. At the end of the day, it's also none of our business, but it is all over the news. It's all over Facebook. It's on TikTok. And the court of public opinion, they're going to ask those hard questions. Let me know what you think. I think it's sad. I think it's tragic. I feel so sorry for her grandbabies, her children, her mother, her friends. And it's a lot. It's a lot. And not only that, he also has a son. His son is on Facebook, and he did share, that he's also going to miss his stepmother. And he had a lot of nice things to say about her in each post, dating back to 2018. So let me know what you think down in the comments. Please hit the like button or hit the dislike button. We just ask you to hit something so that we can get into the algorithm. All opinions matter. Thank you so much for tuning in. If we missed something, let me know in the comments, and we can definitely get another video going to discuss this. Thank you so much, and have a great day. Don't forget to hit the like. Bye.